Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome to 3302. This is where I take a look at the news and happenings in and around Elite Dangerous. Today we're going to take a look at the situation with all the bugs in the Guardian update. Frontier are initiating an expansion within Colonia and just what is going on within the Maia system. Many people are still awaiting the next update for the Guardians. Patch 2.2 come with a number of bugs. In fact, it come with more than its fair share of them, with problems with item storage to problems with missions. Now, I think it's fair to say that most people are fully aware of why games do have bugs, and for the most part, I think people are both understanding and accepting of this fact. And to be perfectly honest, it really is all part and parcel of being a games player. That said, some of the bugs in patch 2.2 are pretty much game breaking for some people at least, and the list of bugs seems to be growing. Now, Frontier have acknowledged most of these bugs, but they haven't given a date as to when they expect them to be fixed. There is a link in the video description below linking to the forum, and there you can find a fairly extensive list of some of the most serious problems. Some examples of this are the insta-death by stations. This occurs if you've got a wanted criminal aboard your ship as a passenger. As soon as the station initiates the scan, it will immediately start to attack you rather than waiting for the scan to complete. Another very common passenger mission bug is when going on sightseeing missions. Now, for these missions you need to visit the visitor beacons and scan them, but on occasion you'll find that either the second or third beacon are actually missing, and this means you're unable to complete the mission. Now, I've personally been hit by those particular issues more than once, so I can attest to them actually being very real problems, and they can be a little bit frustrating. One of the biggest problems with patch 2.2 that seems to be affecting the most people is the reduction in payments for missions. Now, as far as I'm aware, this only seems to affect delivery and smuggling missions, but some people say it affects missions right across the board. And in effect, it is a massive reduction in the payment for those missions, in some cases as much as a 90% reduction. Now, Michael Brooks, executive producer for Elite Dangerous, has confirmed that this is indeed an issue and isn't working as they intend it to work, and it's something that they're looking into, but he said that quite a while ago and we haven't heard any more updates as yet. There's also a number of other bugs, including ones that affect instancing as well as broken conflict zones. Not to mention that glitch, which is causing the pause menu to take upwards of 60 seconds to appear when docked inside a station. Of course, all of these are not bugs that are affecting everyone. By all means, there are many people playing the game quite happily without any problem at all, but there is also a significant number of people posting various bug reports as well as issues on forums and Reddit about all of this. So hopefully the next point release update for the Guardians is not too far away and it's going to contain a lot of fixes. Colonia, that second area of inhabited space way out there 20,000 light years away near Jacques Station, is looking to expand. Now, a few months ago, Frontier put a bit of information out there talking about their plans that they were considering for the Colonia Expansion. What they wanted to do at the time was vote or have a community vote for player-run factions to head on out there to Colonia. And once there, these player groups would get involved in some type of conflict, essentially using the background simulation to expand their influence on the area, and those who lost would be kicked out of Colonia. Unsurprisingly, there was some controversy over this proposal, not least because it would force Colonia to become an area ravaged by war and conflict, something that it is far removed from at the moment. And many of the players within Colonia pride themselves on the area being one of cooperation rather than conflict. So Frontier have come up with a new plan for Colonia, and this one will keep both powers and superpowers well outside of Colonia. The plan is an expansion initiative for Colonia to get many more players out there and many player factions, and to do this, player groups will need to create a new faction, and this can be done through making an application on a Frontier website. Now, Frontier has expressed that getting all the factions out there is a bit time intensive, and for this reason, for the first month they will be choosing 10 factions to head on out that way. How Frontier chooses those 10 factions from amongst all the applications seemed a little bit unclear to me at this point, but they went on to say that hopefully over time everyone will get a chance to get out there, although on the second month onwards only 3 factions per month will be brought out to Colonia. Now, each faction that ends up out in Colonia will get their own planetary base. Unfortunately, this won't be a starport or a space station due to resource constraints, and this is where the player base actually will get involved. It seems that to accumulate the resources, there will be a community goal of some type. At least that's the impression all this information gives, as it mentions that players will need to obtain plenty of resources. So the bottom line then is that Colonia is growing, and it seems to be growing at quite a pace. There won't be any powers or superpowers in Colonia, which means that there will be no power play out there. And it appears that the player factions would be brought over to Colonia peacefully, and once there, they should be able to remain there. It's not been mentioned how the background simulation will be affected by all of this, but Frontier have said that their aim is to enable Colonia to evolve naturally, and that by doing this, the player politics should evolve without too much influence. It's an interesting premise to say the least, and Colonia is indeed a very beautiful area of space, so I highly recommend, if you've got the opportunity, do head on over there and check it out, and I look forward to seeing how all of this plays out. YouTuber Massive D has put together some rather exceptional tutorial videos for Elite Dangerous. His latest one has something for new and old players alike, and focuses on navigation through star systems. Now, it's a surprisingly in-depth subject, and there surely is something that pretty much everybody can learn from this. Massive D goes into a lot of depth on this subject and explains with great clarity. So it's a subject certainly worth checking out. Do take a look at the link in the video description below, where you can find a link to his YouTube channel. A few weeks ago, the Federation used an organisation known as the Pleiades Resource Enterprise to get a foothold into the Maia system out near Obsidian Orbital. The faction was actually successful in getting a foothold there, but the Antil Mob, the dominant faction within the Maia system, have decided to retaliate against that. With that in mind, Frontier set up a new community goal to push the Federation back outside of the Maia system. Now, this community goal was completed extremely quickly. With just 57 contributors, it reached the 8th tier. So that meant the community goal was complete without many people actually getting a chance to get involved. In fact, it was completed in less than 24 hours, and no one really seems to know why, at least outside of Frontier. So Frontier did go ahead and put some extra community goals. There is now a bounty hunting one as well as a trade one. These are all going on within the Pleiades out at the Maia system, and if you want to get involved you can head on over that way, as well as check out the links in the video description. Now it seems both the superpowers, the Empire and the Federation, as well as to some extent the Alliance as well, have expressed a lot of interest in the Maia system. There's no real understanding as to why this is, although some suspect it's all down to the barnacles and the suspicion that there may be some alien interest in the area. This has all been going on for a very long time now, so hopefully the story starts heating up a bit more very soon and we start getting a few answers as to just what is going on out there. That then brings us to an end of this episode of 3302. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.